I'm a girl with the Go Gators.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just checking to see if you were listening.
From Cheyenne, Louisiana. Hold on a second.
Hey, guys! Hey! I'm having a press conference, okay? Thank you.
Momentum, excitement, energy. They say all this stuff, and you know what they mean, but it doesn't describe what you mean. It's just sort of out there.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
I was just worried about, listening to, all your guys' rap poison.
Welcome to Sideline Judgment. Here are your hosts, Sergio and Tyler.
Welcome to Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today, Tyler, I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Neither do I, because it's the off season, baby.
It is the off season, and if you are listening to this, that means that you are still subscribed to Sideline Judgment on your podcast player of choosing, either whether it be Apple, whether it be Spotify. And we want to thank you. Thank you so much. It has been, as Tyler said, the off season. And so, yeah, we don't have much in terms of breaking college football news or games to break down or 5 wide and 2 points that I beat Tyler in, whatever we have, we don't have them right now normally. So this is just a fun little special offseason episode, a little catch up, little talking some ball. And I believe, Tyler, we are recording on Wednesday, April 27th, the night before the 2022 NFL draft. And as we have in years past, we will be talking some NFL draft. As what is it you like to say, Tyler? It's the intersection of what?
The intersection of professional and college football.
Yes.
Which I feel like it's becoming more of a college football thing than it is an NFL thing lately. The attention spans are really starting to shift in one fan base's direction. But the draft is the intersection because it's where all of these professional teams get their new players. So there's a lot of people who are just fans of NFL teams, and they care about this because they care about their teams. And then it forces them to learn a lot about college teams. And then there's a lot of college fans that don't really care about the NFL, but they want to see what happens to their favorite college players or players that they're aware of. So it's a nice, great way for this to coincide. Now, and it often leads to a lot of NFL personalities talking about college football, which
our favorite.
Everyone liked that. But yeah, that being said, people who regularly talk about college football, this even includes us, can be insufferable. Exactly. NFL people do it.
Right. It's kind of one of those, we're very territorial, and not just we, college football fans, everyone, human beings are territorial. And so for us, college football is our thing. So when you have someone that's considered a quote unquote NFL person coming in and giving opinions about some corner or whatever, I have had to have discussions this past week with New York Giants fans in my life about why they don't want this particular New York Giants fan that I know does not want them to draft Sauce Gardner because they have been hurt with corners in the past. And to me, I'm like, okay, but you realize that man has never allowed a touchdown in his collegiate career, right? He's hands down the best cornerback.
That boy nice.
He's a first ballot. He's a card carrying member of the That Boy Nice Club. Absolutely.
I've heard that before where it's just the Jaguars shouldn't even this was last year. Somebody said this to me. The Jaguars shouldn't even draft a quarterback because we always mess it up. And I'm like, that logic does not make sense to me.
That's like, hey, you know what? I always get an upset stomach whenever I eat, so I'm just never going to eat. No, you need to eat something.
You're missing something there. You're missing a step.
So close.
But yeah, it's interesting though, because I might be overreacting here, but I have just not been paying as much attention to this draft as I have in years past. I don't know. I think that might just be a me thing. It might be an overall thing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a quarterback thing on the surface, right? Because
that's definitely an aspect of it.
What have we had in the past years, right? We had Trevor Lawrence before. We had Joe Burrow before him. We had top level prospects at the quarterback position, which is most exciting. And this year, while inevitably there's going to be quarterbacks that go in the first round, there's no like superb. I don't want to say superb, but there's no talent
one's really
that separates
trading
themselves.
up. No one's trading up for any of these quarterbacks, is what it looks like.
Right.
I mean,
no one's going to give up a big haul to move up to pick 4 or pick 3. I mean, listen, we're 24 hours before the draft. They may do that,
haven't yet.
Right, but there's no like round 1 like surefire elite quarterback talent.
Well,
so I think that has to do with it.
If there was Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the number 1 pick last year and still have it this year because yay, if that was the case, I'm like 100% confident if Jacksonville could, they would trade out of the number 1 spot for like the right compensation. And if there was a surefire quarterback to draft, they would, because they aren't going to draft him, but they absolutely would be willing to give that pick up for somebody who would. And that market's just not there. Also, a big testament to how interesting this draft is for me. My team, the team that I follow, and I'm from the city that they play in, has the number 1 draft pick, and I don't care. I just don't care. I mean, I do, but like, I
understand. I understand. I think there's a lot of factors. The quarterback one being the biggest one in terms of surface level, but I also think it's not that there's football fatigue, but I think this draft is really deep on like edge rushers and linemen, and it's not like there's quote unquote flashy positions. And also like, I think the biggest news in terms of like what could move the proverbial media needle are the trades, right? Like we can talk about it quickly, but my team, the Miami Dolphins, are now the proud employers of one Tyreek Hill, my man.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, baby. Oh yeah. So, the big news was these big trades, right? Deebo Samuel wants out of San Francisco right now. So it's not like we're thinking, oh, who's going to go number 1? Who's this and that? It's, hey, who's going to trade for Deebo on draft night?
Come to Jacksonville, Deebo. Please. I swear, please.
Listen, okay, so you mentioned you have the first pick, overall pick. I did a mock draft on the Tailgaters yesterday with a friend of the pod, our Texas Longhorn correspondent, Kevin Borba.
I, being a terrible friend, have yet to listen to it.
That is okay. It is a mock draft, and we talk about a few things. But go ahead and take a listen whenever you want.
Absolutely.
I had the number 1 pick, and I'll tell you right now, I'll spoil it. I gave you guys Evan Neal. You want to know why I gave you guys Evan Neal? Because Trevor Lawrence was on the ground a lot last season.
Yeah.
You know what would be better?
If he wasn't.
And Evan Neal is as close to like a plug and play at tackle as you're going to see in the draft this year. There's 2 or 3 really high level tackles, but I think maybe it's just biased because we watch the SEC, but I think he's be perfect for you guys.
I think that is the right pick, and I'm almost 100% confident it is not the pick that they're going to go with.
Is it because the Jags don't make the right pick most of the time, or because
it isn't actually like we always screw it up? Like, like people said that about like, you're going to screw up the Trevor Lawrence pick last year. And I'm like, no, they won't. They won't do that because there's no, like, they don't have a reason to
right.
But my thing is that I keep hearing that Jacksonville wants to get an edge rusher. So for a long time, I thought it was Aiden Hutchinson. Now it looks like it might be Georgia's Trayvon Walker, which doesn't really make as much sense to me. But
why? Okay, so I'm on the opposite side of that fence. I like that pick. If you're going to go edge rusher, I think Evan Neal should be the pick.
That's fair.
But
yeah, I haven't looked into it honestly that much. But it's like for weeks, all of the talk that I've heard is all about Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau or now Trayvon Walker. And like, I want to make it clear that I don't think drafting an edge rusher first overall is a bad thing. Right. And I would probably be happy with any 3 of those. Although actually, I think about it, like Trayvon Walker probably is the best. Aiden Hutchinson just looks like Taven Bryan. So that, again, is a thing that shouldn't matter. Mm-hmm. But I think that I would prefer us to have good O-linemen right now.
Right.
Because this, I believe, is a pretty deep edge rusher class
it is.
Just overall. And there's not like there's not like a Myles Garrett that just stands out above the rest.
Right.
So I'm almost 100% positive they're going to pick a D lineman, an edge rusher.
Right.
I would prefer them pick an O lineman, and I prefer them to pick Evan Neal. That's been my pick for weeks, going on months now. But I'm pretty sure they won't. And again, it will probably be good. I hope that it will be good. Like, like getting an edge rusher. It's not like they're going to draft okay, I'm going to knock on wood before I say anything. But it's not like they're going to draft like a running back first overall. Or that's the debate. It's between an edge rusher and an O lineman. So like this is a good debate to be having, in my opinion.
Not only are those positions of need, but they're elite talent at those positions is hard to come by. So
you need to be investing in those positions often.
Right.
We
and what you said like
last year, and now we need to invest in our line.
That's what I think. I agree. But even if they do go edge, I think any of those guys, talent-wise, are more than capable of living up to the hype of being a first-round draft pick. And anyone that you get in that top 5 is going to have talent. It's a matter of how you use them and if they can develop and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I want to ask you another question.
Sure.
Draft-related. I mentioned Sauce Gardner.
Yes.
To me, he is the best corner defensive back, CB, in the draft. Do you see him falling out of the top 5? Because if we remember, the top 5 is Jacksonville at 1, Detroit at 2, Houston at 3, the New York Jets at 4, and the New York Giants at 5. Do you see him falling outside of the top 5? What do you think?
I want to say no, because I think all of those teams could use him. Jacksonville's not going to draft him. If they did, I would be okay with it. But like, they're not going to. But I feel like, because with every pick that happens, a player gets removed from the board. And Sauce Gardner, to me, is the quality of player that would necessitate like if your other pick, if you have another number 1 pick on your board, isn't there, Sauce Gardner's got to be like number 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. And I think he's in the top 3 on like everyone's big board.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't see that happening. Now watch what's going to happen is he's going to fall to 6. But I think that I would bet that he would go in the top 5. Yeah. I can't think of like 4 other people better than him necessarily.
Right. Yeah. I don't see that. My philosophy, my mentality is I don't think he goes any lower than 4. I think if he falls to the Jets, that is a miracle for them, because think about the AFC East, right? The Dolphins have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, 2 of the fastest players in the league. The Bills have Stephon Diggs, right? A very clear cut to probably top 10, maybe top 5 receiver in terms of production in the league. The Patriots somehow can make magic with players that you don't think are going to be the ball. But seriously, they are in a division where there's elite, right? There's elite wide receiver talent in that division. So therefore, I think they need to stack up and get elite defensive back talent. So why not take the guy who didn't give up a touchdown in his entire career at Cincinnati and was a consensus All-American last year? You know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's not like he didn't give up a touchdown and he didn't play a lot. He right. was a starter for multiple years at Cincinnati. Like I think it's not a team that I don't think Sauce Gardner wouldn't make better.
Right, exactly. Instant impact wherever he goes.
Yeah, which is why I wouldn't necessarily take Sauce Gardner number 1, given what we really need on our roster. But if for some reason the Jaguars did, I'd be okay with it. Like, yeah,
it'd be a surprise, but like, okay, cool, got the best corner in the draft at a position of need. Great, wonderful. Also, he's a single digit wearing corner.
Again,
come on.
Does he wear 0 or
no? He wears 1. Kobe Bryant wears 0.
Right. Which is such a strange sentence. Never mind.
I know.
Yeah, no. Again, came from a secondary. Was the best player in a secondary that were only single-digit numbers.
Yeah. I want to remind everyone, the game plan that Nick Saban employed against Cincinnati was don't throw it to Sauce Gardner. That was literally the game
respect.
Plan. The respect from the GOAT, ladies and gentlemen, from the GOAT. Tyler, another question. The Deebo Samuel stuff has come up. Do you think he gets traded do you think he gets traded on draft night? And if so, where do you think he goes?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Draft related, not necessarily.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that you would think that Deebo, from a fit perspective, his best fit in the whole NFL is at Miami. But that's not going to happen. Like,
no, it's not. There's no way. There's no way that happens.
They can't pay all those people.
But no.
No, they can't. No, it's not a matter of they wouldn't do it. I would. It's just that I don't think you can pay all of those people. Like
also like let's be honest here. Jalen Waddle is filling that role in the McDaniel offensive system.
And you have Tyreek Hill, which you just spent a bunch of money on.
Then we have Tyreek Hill. He's the reason we don't have a first rounder.
Arguably the only person, like a faster version of Deebo Samuel. Like,
yeah, true.
But so that would be like my number one thing. But I don't know. I mean, like you're looking at Shanahan tree guys. You're looking at the Jets, which I don't know. Like,
well, that's where I think he'll end up. I think they have their second first rounder is pick 10, right? So they have 2 picks in the top 10.
Oh, I forgot about that. I would definitely trade one of those away for Deebo Samuel. The 49ers would be a fool not to take that. Like,
I think they're looking at a package with like pick 10. I think their second rounder and a couple like other picks, and maybe a player like Elijah Moore or someone like that in exchange for Deebo. And if I'm the 49ers, I pull that trigger because it is better in today's age in sports, period, not just football, but we see this in the NBA. We haven't seen it as much in baseball, but I think we will start to see it soon, where players have a lot of agency. And I think it's a much better long-term play for a franchise, for a team, to sell high and get a lot in return for a player that very clearly doesn't want to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Deebo Samuel is one of the most electric players in the NFL. And largely, I will say that is due to being in Kyle Shanahan's offense. Like, Deebo Samuel is a great player. He always has been. He was in college. He's currently in the system in the NFL that probably benefits him the most.
Yeah.
But he's made it clear he doesn't want to play there. So I get rid of him now instead of trying to force him, create a bad relationship, and again, having to sell possibly lower than you were before. Like, my
only wish for Deebo is that he goes somewhere that just doesn't replicate what happened to him in college. He played for Will Muschamp, so it was an inept offense. I want somewhere where they'll be able to use him, and he's such a fun player to watch, like as a neutral, really just as a football fan, you know. It was funny because we were saying when he was at South Carolina, it was like, this guy's good when he gets the ball. The issue is they don't get him the ball.
They don't get him the ball.
So
gotta go somewhere with maybe he'll go to the Chiefs and replace Tyreek Hill.
That would be.
They'd have to give up a lot to do that.
Well, the reason that they traded Tyreek was because of the money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Deebo's saying that he wants upwards of $24 million a year. So I don't know if that's the most
that's not
sound thing. I see them drafting. I mean, they have 2 first rounders at the end of the first round. I see them drafting wide receivers and just hoping one of them hits, and that way they have the 5th-year option on that.
They have a pretty good situation in regards to their offense and like wide receivers. So
yeah, they'll be fine.
Just trying to think of people, and I'm
that's okay. I mean, I just wanted to have that Deebo discussion, just because
it's fascinating though, because like I'm not completely convinced it happens on draft night. Like, okay, I think it would be best if it did, but everybody always just like it's going to happen on draft night, and then a lot of these player trades don't because they require all these like details, and they can't get them figured out on draft night. So then they just have to end up trading players that they've drafted or players that they have or future picks.
Yeah. True.
I don't know.
Always in asset collection mode is a smart mentality to have, I think. So
you have the assets. You must have the assets.
You must have the assets. That's a callback to my fantasy motto.
Yeah.
Tyler, anything else on the draft that you're interested in? Any specific player that you want to know where they go? Where does Kaiir Elam go? I mean, just as a Gator fan, where do we think he ends up?
I think
is he a first rounder?
I think he could be, but I don't think he falls past the second, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
To me, I've seen it heard that he's like, he will not be lower than the 4th corner taken. And like, that should put him in the 2nd round at the latest, in my opinion.
I don't think he goes past pick like 40, 45.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. It's just, it becomes so situational for even like when you get to the 2nd, 3rd rounds where like you have a lot of talented players, but it's about who's available and what do you need? Like, because the 1st round largely to me, 1st and 2nd are a lot of like you want to address needs, but you're in talent acquisition mode. Like you want the best player that you can get. And if that addresses a need, amazing. But like there was the year the Jaguars drafted Josh Allen, and they didn't really need that at the time, but it was one of their top players, so they pulled trigger on him in the first round. And I'm not going to say that was good or bad because he's had some good games for us, but he's not been bad, but he's not been exceptional.
Right.
But it is a situation where I think in the first round, the correct strategy to have is that like if you're addressing your needs, but if a player comes along that is a talent that you can't give up on and it may not fit your needs perfectly, you should still pick them. In the second and third, you want talent, but you need to be addressing your needs.
Yeah. And at that point, every team has the same 30 or 40 players in terms of who they think are the best in the draft. And after that, each team has their own strategy as to how they evaluate what type of player, what type of person they want to bring into their organization. So when you start getting into rounds 3, 4, and on day 3, it more becomes, like you said, about fit, about need, situation.
Yeah. And then once you get past like the 5th, 6th round, it's like these teams are drafting practice squad players. Like
literally, yeah.
Like that's who they're drafting. It's like they're taking flyers on guys. It's literally just about like
trying
who
to find
do we
a
think
gem.
might, because like you shouldn't, if you're in the 5th and 6th round, you shouldn't be expected. You're not expected to contribute. Like,
right.
If you do, amazing. And sometimes a lot of times people do. But overall, like very few people past that point really seriously contribute to their team.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
two more questions on the draft before I want to do some college football stuff.
Absolutely.
We mentioned quarterbacks.
Cool.
About how there's no like transcendent prospect. Who do you think is the first quarterback off the board?
I think it's Desmond Ridder.
Oh, okay, fun.
I've been thinking that for a while. He's improved so much in his college career.
Yes.
And like there's parts of me that want to be like, ooh, it's going to be Sam Howell. It's going to be, sexy and like new.
Oh, you know what I just realized? Future Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Howell. I think that bit has to die.
It's got one more night.
It's got one more. I think it's got 2 more nights. I don't think he goes for round 1.
It's a good point. Hey, we don't know if he does get drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
I mean,
said it here 2 years ago.
Just like we said Billy Napier to Florida in a dream.
How wild. Apollo with the gift of prophecy. No, but I think it's going to be Desmond Ridder because, I mean, and this is not necessarily that I think Desmond Ridder will be the best because that isn't what being the first quarterback is about.
Right.
Like that you have to understand that. It's a mix of high profile and the desirable traits. Like and your ability. And Desmond Ridder is a great college quarterback. And he got his team to the playoff. And he got visibly better every year. And I like a lot of his game. I think he's high profile enough, but it's like, there's going to be a quarterback drafted at least one in the first round, but I don't know how high he goes. Like,
yeah, because you have the Saints.
I'm not staking my career on Desmond Ridder.
No, neither am I. You have the Saints who have multiple first round picks, but both of them are in the teens. Maybe they take the second one. Maybe, I don't know. There's a bunch of situations. I know that Day has been on the record, a friend of ours, Day. We talked about it before we recorded. He has said that he wouldn't be mad if the Falcons took Malik Willis. He thinks
Malik Willis.
He thinks that I mean, listen, I think he's got the best arm of all the quarterbacks in this draft. It's a possibility. It's
Malik
definitely
Willis
a possibility.
is very talented. And this has nothing to do with him. I do worry about him playing in like the Hugh Freeze offense in regards to like, and it has nothing to do with him because like we've seen many quarterbacks play in the Hugh Freeze offense and put up crazy numbers, and then they don't do anything in the league.
Right.
But that's like, I don't know. He's the most electric one in that offense we've seen. Like,
yeah. I also think before him, the most electric Hugh Freeze offense quarterback in college we had, I think, was maybe Kelly, right? Chad Kelly. And I also want to say, we're getting old. That was like 2015. That was 7 years ago. So I think offense moves.
That's true. That's very true.
I think we're much more. I mean, look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins' entire.
We're not going to sit here and act like Chad Kelly didn't have his own problems. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a completely different story.
but
we could have a whole podcast episode on that. But no, but like the Dolphins' whole offense is centered around yards after the catch. Like Tua, I think the reason why Tua is going to be really successful with this McDaniels offense is because the emphasis is on getting the ball out of his hands quickly, and Tua does that better than almost every other quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm. That's his specialty.
It is. It is a specialty, and it's a skill. So I think that you can cater an offense around a certain what a player has been successul under, and it also helps that he has what you can't teach, which is a cannon of an arm.
He's got a good arm. I honest to God, I'm not going to rescind my answer because I do think it will be Desmond Ridder.
Yeah,
but I think Malik Willis is the other one who will go first or second. And
yeah, I agree.
The thing is, I would like Malik Willis for the Falcons. I don't know if their current head coach would get the most out of him. But
yeah,
you don't.
I mean, going back to that point of forming an offense around someone, I don't think it will work like that in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying. I can't believe I didn't think about that.
Well, listen, you can think about that all throughout draft. Tomorrow we'll text and we'll figure it out. Last question before we go on to college football stuff: the punt god Matt Ariza. Is my guy a day 2 pick? Does he go in the 3rd round, or does he get taken? How early do you think he'd go? Because I truly believe this is a player that A, will be the first specialist off the board, and B, this might be one of the few players where you go, if your team in the 4th round goes, hey, we took a punter. What? Why did we take a punter? Oh, no, we took Matt Ariza. Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. That's a good pick.
I can't see him going any earlier than 4th because the NFL don't respect punters like we do.
No, punters are people too. Just want to let everyone know.
Punters, they don't respect punters, college punters like college football fans do. No, the NFL.
No. I mean, we had the luxury of having the Townsend brothers. So
no, I mean, it's just maybe us.
Please,
but,
we're basically punt fan royalty over here.
I put my hipster glasses
Florida's
on.
punter.
Yeah, we were punt fans before you all.
I can't believe we're going to gatekeep punting. I just want to say, whatever team drafts Matt Ariza, whoever that punter is, start packing your bags. Sorry, my guy.
He's cheaper and probably better than you.
He's definitely cheaper, and he's definitely better than you. So, anything else on the draft?
To the Jaguars.
Come to the Jags, yeah, right. Come to the Dolphins. That'd be fun. Anything else that you want to? Anything else you want to mention about the draft before we play a fun little game I literally came up with 5 minutes ago?
Nice. No, I'm excited to watch it. And talking about it here has just made me even more excited. We haven't done our usual draft coverage this year because of life.
And we apologize, but it is a life situation. And I know we spent the first 5 minutes talking about how this draft isn't as exciting as the ones in the past, but that's not why we didn't do our draft coverage. We had some life stuff.
But I'm excited, because it's one of those things that sometimes it's in these unexciting drafts that the best stuff happens. And in a lot of ways, I'm more curious because I don't know what the chalk way would be, because there's not a lot of you have to draft this guy. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am excited as well. I will be interested to see how it goes. Tyler, let's move forward because, like you say, the draft is the intersection between the college and the pros. But we're college guys at heart.
Yeah.
We are college football guys. And I think in these last few minutes that we're going to be on here, I'm excited for certain games next season.
Okay.
There's some fun games that are going to happen this coming season. I don't really want to talk too much. We could talk about Dabo. We could talk about some spring game stuff.
Why would we do that?
Transfer portal. But why would we do that? We're here. We want the games. Okay. We are card carrying members of the That Boy Nice Club. All right. And we want to see them boys do nice things. All right. That's what we want.
Yeah.
I pulled up a bunch of websites ranging from 247 to The Athletic to ESPN. And there's a lot of ranking of the top 10 games you have to watch this season. So I'm going to go through these websites and I'm going to give you the games. And I want you to give me an answer on a scale from, I'm going to say I'm going to catch the highlights, but really I'm not going to watch them and just check the box score. That's one. Or I need to be in front of a television to watch this game. And you can fill in whatever metric you want in between.
Understood.
There's I believe that there's I'll have it on in the background section of rating. There's I'll be out, but I'll have it on my phone section. So you could fill in the blanks with your imagination, Tyler. You're a writer. You have a wonderful imagination.
It's what I do.
It's your thing. It's what you do. All right. I will give you the game, and then I will give you the week or the date if they have. Starting off with a non-conference game that, in my opinion, will become a conference game in the future. It is Clemson taking on Notre Dame at Notre Dame. It is in November, on November 5th. Where on the watchability scale do you rank that?
It's so funny because my mind immediately went to, well, what other games are in the same time slot?
That's for 5 wide later in the year, my friend.
That's not part of this. It's in November.
November 5th.
November 5th. We'll kind of know what these teams are at this point in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I might have this on, I'm gonna channel flip to this. I'm not going to be watching this on like the number one channel, but every commercial break, I'm flipping back to this game. I want to see what it's like.
If you're with some people, it's gonna be, hey, check on that Clemson Notre Dame game.
Yeah, because it's very much I'm extremely interested in what both of these teams end up being this year. In regards to like Notre Dame had a really good year last year, but now they've got a new coach, Marcus Freeman. Dabo Swinney's Clemson struggled last year relative to expectations. They still won 10 games.
Right.
But is that going to change? They've got some new quarterback stuff. Does DJ Uyunglele improve, or does he get overtaken? Do they fix their offense? He's had to replace coordinators on both sides of the ball, which he might have had a forced hand in making a good thing for his offense. There's almost no way his defense will improve, because there's just almost no way his defense will get better than what it was under Brent Venables.
No, not at least not in the immediate.
But like, if this were happening early in the season, I would be tuned into this because I want to see what these teams are. By this point, I feel like I'll know, but I'm going to be interested in it.
All right. There are 3 games that I'm going to give you here. We're going to put a little game within a game. This is what happens when we have no rundown, guys. I come up with stuff and we try it. All 3 of these games take place on the opening Saturday, September 3rd.
Let's go.
We don't know the time zone, but let's say they all kicked off at the same time. I want you to rank the order of which of these games you want to see. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We have Cincinnati at Arkansas.
Ooh.
Which seems like a game for us. Like that game's for us. You and me. That's
just
for you and me.
Us.
Yes. Cincy, Arkansas. Georgia, Oregon. At Oregon.
Oh, at Oregon. That's important.
I'm sorry. It's in Atlanta. I misread that.
Ow.
I know.
Mind.
Completely different.
Neutral
different. That Cincy game is in Arkansas, just so you know. Nice. So Cincy versus Arkansas in Arkansas, Georgia versus Oregon at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and Notre Dame at Ohio State in the Horseshoe.
Ooh.
What's the order if those 3 games? Let's say all 3 games kick off at the 3:30 CBS spot, even though none of them are SEC games, like completely, but whatever, for the sake of the game. What's the order of what you want to watch?
Right. Oh, this is
Cincy, Arkansas, Georgia, Oregon, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
I'm gonna go. Okay. Georgia, Oregon is like it. Cincy, Arkansas is love it. Notre Dame, Ohio State has got to have it.
Got it. Okay, I see you.
It's tough because I would like to put Cincy, Arkansas for like the nicheness of it to be at the top spot. But considering how much Cincinnati will have lost relative to the fact that Arkansas lost almost nothing good about their team except for like Treylon Burks, I don't know if I can because Cincy kept their coach Luke Fickell,
right,
and that's a big deal. But they had like a very senior heavy team last year, and I don't know what Cincinnati we're going to get, because if we got last year's Cincinnati, I'm all over this game. Like, this is the top spot for me. but I don't know what we're getting out of Cincinnati. It's probably going to be okay, but is it the quality that we want it to be? I don't know. That's why I can't put it at the top spot. Likewise, as much as I'm so interested in the Georgia-Oregon game because I believe it's Dan Lanning is now the Oregon head coach, who was previously
former Georgia defensive coordinator.
Yeah. But it's in Atlanta. I want to believe in Oregon, but I don't really. I'm going to be honest here. Like I'm not really seeing a world where Georgia loses this game unless Oregon really surprises us, which is possible.
Can I give you a wrinkle in that game?
Okay.
Bo Nix revenge game. Because
I
Bo
don't know
Nix
if that makes me
transferred
feel
from
better.
okay, fine.
I don't know if Bo Nix going up against Kirby Smart makes me feel better about this. But like the Notre Dame Ohio State, I definitely want to see because Ohio State was a little underwhelming for their own standards last year. Still good. CJ Stroud, productive quarterback. I am excited to see what Notre Dame is under Marcus Freeman. Like,
you know what I'm very uncomfortable with?
What?
The fact that like I kind of want Notre Dame to do well this year because I kind of want Marcus Freeman to do well.
Brian Kelly left and suddenly we like them now.
I know. Who knew? You just
They're
have to
all
remove
likable now. Like
they remove the toxic nature of Brian Kelly, and all of a sudden they're likable. What is this?
I don't get it personally.
I know.
No, I get it because I feel it, but I don't know how it happened. It's just like they literally changed almost nothing about their administration except for the guy at the top. Like almost no assistants changed.
Yeah.
Very few people left and went to LSU with Brian Kelly, which haha. But I mean, I don't know. I'm very interested in like I'm not gonna root for Notre Dame, but I'm interested because I want to see what they're like.
Yeah. No, I've
got a good feeling about this.
Me too.
For them, I feel like, yeah.
Am I ever going to admit
if we get to hate them again? That's great too.
Exactly.
This is a win-win for us. This is a win-win for
win-win.
We get a new team that we like, or we get to go back to being haters.
Just balance, Tyler. It's all about balance. All right, next game. Fast forward 1 week, September 10th. The Texas Longhorns.
Your favorite team.
Sir, please. The Texas Longhorns are hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide. Where on the scale does this game fall for you?
I will be intently tuned into this for the first 3 drives. Because after that, I won't care because the winner will be clear.
Because Texas is going to blow them out, right?
No, I mean that's in no world.
So this is I have to be there for kickoff.
You think I'm going to pick Steve Sarkisian over the GOAT?
No.
Must be out your goddamn mind.
I would fly to California just to smack you and then fly back. If you had that, I thought. Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, in no way. I'm interested in this game, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest. Like after about 3 drives, I'm probably switching to something else because it will not be entertaining.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and I don't. Because I'm going to be completely honest, be transparent here. I don't get the same rise out of watching Texas get pummeled that you might. So, like, I expect you to stay for a little bit longer. But
well, my rise comes from just my affinity for my love for my brother. Like, it's not really my rise. But I prefer Oklahoma, obviously. So,
okay.
All right. Next up, we'll flip one more week to the 17th of September. Tyler, I cannot wait for this week. You want to know why I can't wait for this week?
Why?
Because I want to wake up in the morning, make some coffee, eat some oatmeal, turn on the South Florida Sports Radio, and listen to the hype of the University of Miami Hurricanes traveling all the way to the biggest cult in the country to take on Texas A&M at Kyle Field. This is September 17th. It is going to be Mario Cristobal's first big test as Miami Hurricanes head coach. And it's also Jimbo with arguably one of the greatest recruiting classes of all time. It's probably their first big game. It'll be the third game of their season, so they'll have a couple of games to kind of get into the swing of things. Maybe somebody comes out as like a star freshman. Who knows? All I know is that the South Florida Sports Radio, because Miami should win their first 2 games, right? They should win. So be undefeated, and they'll be like, we can take down A&M, and it'll be fun to listen to the week leading up to and the Monday after. So I'm very excited. This is I got to sit on this couch and watch the whole game start to finish.
With you. I need to see what happens in this game. It's not so like I definitely would pick Texas A&M to win, but I'm not in a way of like, in the way with the Alabama Texas game, it'll be like, yeah, no, I'm picking Alabama to win, and after a short period of time, it won't be entertaining to watch this game anymore. This will be entertaining, not because I'm not saying like Miami's going to get blown out necessarily. I'm very confident Texas A&M will win this game, but I'm interested in this. I want to watch this. This is number one on my watch list that week.
Oh yeah. All right. I have one. Hold on, I have a list here. I have one. All right, I have 4 games left for us. Okay. Let's fast forward one more week to week 4, September 24th. TCU at SMU. Now, this game isn't one of those 2 high-profile programs, whatever, but I want to remind you, Sonny Dykes left the Ponies to take over the Horned Frogs, left SMU to take over TCU. These teams, Tyler, I read in the research for this, TCU and SMU have played each other every single year since 1915, with the exception of 6 games.
Wow.
So in over 100 years, they have played in the past, what is it, since 1915, 117 years, they have played, 107 years,
107.
they have played 101 times.
Wow.
This is a rivalry that doesn't get a lot of like big time hype because it's a group of 5 team.
And SMU a long time ago, and
literally. So, and we got the coach leaving across town, so the rival SMU hates him now. What do you think? What's the watchability factor on that for you? It's okay to not be too high on it either.
No, watchability factor is it is on the iPad.
Okay.
Like I got the TV, I got the laptop, I got the iPad. It's on the iPad. I'm looking at it. But I'm not gonna. This is not my primary view for the day.
Okay.
But I'm interested because you're kind of more interested in the end result than necessarily the game. Like I'm very interested in the build up and to see what happens. But I don't know what these teams are going to be like. So I don't know if the actual football we're going to watch is going to be what I'm interested in.
You know what I can't wait for this game? The 7-minute game day history of SMU and TCU and why people outside of Dallas have to pay attention. All that. That's what I'm excited for.
That'll be good. Man, right, I miss watching game day.
We're going to get it back. My friend.
Well, no, I mean that too, but also it's just hard for me because, noon games for you start at 9 a.m. over here on the
game
West
day
Coast.
Starts at 9, which is when I'm rolling out of bed on a Saturday.
But that means that game day starts at 5 a.m.
Yikes.
It's just hard for me to wake up on a Saturday morning at 5 a.m.
Just stay up from Friday.
That's a good point.
All right, 3 games left. We're going to go back to Labor Day weekend. It's Sunday, September 4th. So the day before Labor Day Monday.
Oh, hello.
Florida State taking on LSU in New Orleans in like that neutral site, New Orleans, nationally televised Sunday game. Watchability factor for you. I think this one's kind of cheating though, because it'll be the only game on. So we're going to watch the whole game. But come on. What are you feeling with this game?
This is on Labor Day?
Yeah, on Sunday. Not on Labor Day's Monday, so on Sunday.
This is sorry, I blanked for a second.
You're okay. Florida State, LSU, but it's neutral site in New Orleans.
Okay, so Florida State, LSU, it is Mike Norvell versus Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's familiar with FSU. But he's over LSU now. He's not at Notre Dame.
Exactly.
The game is in
New Orleans.
Obviously I'm interested in this, but right. And we're obviously going to watch it. It's like you said, it is the first game of the season. Well, it's the only game that day.
Right.
I'm tuned into this because I mean, there's a good aspect for us Florida fans, regardless of what happens, because I don't have a lot of belief in Mike Norvell's ability to win this game, but I don't know what Brian Kelly at LSU is going to look like. And
I also don't know what the turnaround in terms of talent is going to be for LSU, because they had a lot of injuries, a lot of people leave, draft, transfer. It's going to be a brand new LSU team. And how quickly do these players adapt to whatever scheme Kelly and his staff are going to bring in? You know, I'm very interested to see how that goes.
And, you know, Mike Norvell has lost to a team without a coach before. So, like, I don't know if I can trust him. I'm just saying he's done it. Greg Knox 1, Mike Norvell 0. Like,
well, Tyler, speaking of the team that beat Mike Norvell at the end of last season, second to last game, we got to talk about it quickly. Our beloved Florida Gators hosting the Utah Utes on the 3rd of September, that first Saturday of the season. Obviously, this is
number one priority for us.
But number one priority. No one talked to me for 3.5 hours. You and I texting back and forth every 35 seconds. Obviously, it's what is it? DEFCON 4, all hands on deck. Yeah. That's what we are. But what do you want to, knowing what we know now after spring practice? Quickly, we don't have to. We're going to dissect this game before the season starts. But what are you thinking right now?
Well, Streets, in the words of our friend Day, Streets said Anthony Richardson wins the Heisman.
Can confirm the Streets said that. I've been on those streets. I can't confirm that.
No, what I'm really interested in is, this is a case where I would wish, for our own personal sake, this would have been the second game of the season for us, not the first.
Me too. Especially
not only just for us as a team for the season, but like this is the first game of the Billy Napier regime, which to me won't mean anything if we lose it, really. But I'm interested in it. I'm super interested in this. I want to see what our offense looks like, how our quarterback looks like. It's going to be Anthony Richardson. Let's not kid ourselves. I really want to see what the O-line looks like, because Utah kept a lot of their team. They're a very physical team. But then you've got the good thing going for us that it is September Florida heat, which our players will be accustomed to.
And those boys are coming from the mountains.
They're coming from the mountains. That will give us an advantage early. It might not matter in the fourth quarter. It might only matter in the fourth quarter. But I don't know. I want to see what this team is like. It's almost agnostic of Utah. I just wish that we would have more of a blank canvas, because what we know about Utah is physical. That's their thing. Can this team, our team, in our first game, match up with that? Because we're probably faster than them, but that might not matter.
Right.
It's really, so in a way, what I'm really looking at is Anthony Richardson, the passing game. Can we expose them long? Because if Florida is passing all over them, we're fine.
Yeah, I agree. How does it feel knowing that? I think we'll lose the game just because of.
I wouldn't pick us to win it either right now, just because like if we did, I'd be happy. Not entirely. Like I could see a world where we do, but I wouldn't pick it just because that's a team. Kyle Whittingham's been there forever, and that is not only that, but that is a team that is together.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, ask me again when we play the game in August. But right now, with a level head and a cool mind, I think we lose the game. So with that being said, it's going to be great to know that Billy Napier is going to be the first ever Gators coach to win a national title after losing his first ever game. It's going to be a good feeling. It's going to be a good feeling. It's going to be great. Tyler, I have saved the most important game of the 2022 season for last.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to hear any debates. This is non-negotiable.
This is an FAU game. I will come to
this
Florida.
This is not an FAU game. This is not an FAU game. Although FAU plays UCF this year, the weekend, Alexa's birthday's on a Wednesday. That's Saturday. And they play here in Boca. So I already have my friends that want to go. I'm praying Alexa's like, yeah, let's go to the game. I want to see UCF play because I really want to go to the game. No, this is not an FAU game. Go Owls. But this is the most important college football game of the season. And thankfully, it takes place on Thursday, September 1st.
Ooh.
Tyler, it is the return of the backyard brawl.
Yes,
it is West Virginia playing Pittsburgh. It is in Pittsburgh. And not only is it the return of the backyard brawl, Tyler, It is the matchup of former USC quarterbacks. JT Daniels is now the quarterback at West Virginia, and Keaton Slovis is now the quarterback at Pittsburgh. Wow. It is going to be an electric atmosphere at Heinz Field. I am going to be so excited. This is a no one talk to me. No, it's like I'm turning my phone. All right, I won't turn my phone off because I know you're going to be watching too. We got to talk. But this is a Sergio. This is a Sergio. Do you have any plans on Thursday? And I'll be like, yes, I do. Well, can you move them? Unfortunately, I cannot move these plans.
This is set in stone.
If I could be in Pittsburgh, I would be.
You would sooner divert a river from its course than deny me my right to watch the backyard brawl.
I might cut people out of my life if they wanted to deprive me of watching the backyard brawl. This is a big deal for me.
Clearly, we have a mix-up of priorities here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I have to attend what? No. Sorry. May I interest you in a college football game between two teams inside of the coal section of the country? May I interest you in this? No. Tyler, what about you? What are you thinking? Obviously, you're on the same page as me in terms of
I'm
have to watch
this
the game.
But
this was literally an excuse for me to just rant about the return of the backyard brawl.
Nice.
Do you remember the last time the backyard brawl happened, Tyler?
It happened in like 2000, in the early 2000s or
7.
2000. That's what I was gonna guess. Damn.
It was the crazy 07 year. It was the year that, let me put it this way: Pat McAfee and Pat White were on the West Virginia team that lost to like a 3-win Pitt team at the end of the season,
right?
And it cost them a national championship.
Yeah, it was like the stupidest loss ever. It
was the dumbest loss ever, and it was in Morgantown. Like they went in, upset their rivals, it was like the epitome of college football greatness. I suggest you look it up. Former Dolphins coach Dave Wanstad was the coach of that Pitt team. Fun fact. That's the last time we had the backyard brawl, and they're going to be playing. I think it's 6 times in the next 8 years starting this season.
About that. It's like they've revived it for a while.
They've revived it at least in the short term. I'm hoping that they end up making it a yearly thing because it is just a fantastic rivalry, and I'm so glad that it's not the only game on that day. I have that day pulled up specifically. Tennessee opens their season that year. Missouri opens that day. Arizona State, UCF opens that day. William and Mary, Charlotte, Central Michigan, Oklahoma State. But definitely the game. Oh, Penn State at Purdue actually looks like a good game that day. But the game is West Virginia Pitt. I know that. I think Game Days said they're going to be there. It's going to be ESPN prime time. It'll be similar. It'll get the attention it deserves, I should say.
Good. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to be streaming Country Roads, Take Me Home.
Oh, okay, so I want to ask. Okay, so very early, we don't have to decide today. We can leave this episode on a cliffhanger.
There's no points on this.
There's no point. No, there's no points on this. No. I, as the defending champion, do not have any points on this. So you're going to hear that a lot, by the way.
I deserve this considering how much I read in your face last year.
I haven't put it in my bio yet.
Oh,
I'm running out of time. You know what? When I upload this, listeners today, but tomorrow morning, Tyler, I'll make sure that when I tweet out this link, I will add a little video of me changing my bio to incorporate the important information that is needed on there. I want to ask you: Are we both picking the same team for this game? Are we doing a little separate?
I don't know,
because you mentioned Country Roads. I spent those 6 weeks living in Morgantown. I feel like we gotta go West Virginia.
I feel more of an affinity for West Virginia than I do for Pitt. My only hang up is that I'm like, to me, Keaton Slovis is a better quarterback.
Well, to me, Pitt is hands down the better team.
Yeah, but I would like it if West Virginia won more. But
okay,
I don't know if I would pick that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the great thing about it is that like teams change, and I have no clue what Pitt's going to be.
I agree.
And I have no clue what West Virginia is going to be. Neil Brown's still the head coach there, right?
He is still the head coach. He's going into his 4th year.
I think 4th. Yeah.
No, 2019, 2020, his 4th year. Yeah, his 4th year.
Okay.
He was hired in 2019. So
I think so. Also,
like Neil Brown, West Virginia just has the vibes, dude.
Yeah.
West Virginia just has the vibe. I mean, you know the West Virginia version of Sweet Caroline, right?
Oh yes, you mentioned this to me.
I've mentioned it.
You've told me about this.
Yeah, they eat when they go Sweet Caroline, instead of going bum bum bum, they go eat a 4-letter word that starts with an S, ends with hit. Eat that word pit instead of the bum bum bum, and I think it's one of the more creative things.
That's beautiful. That's
Beautiful.
special.
They also have Country Roads. The song is a bop. Is a bop. I think we know our answer, Tyler.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm picking West Virginia for the first.
Also, I've always liked JT Daniels. I just haven't been able to root for his success over the past 2 years because he was at Georgia. And I can't do that.
No.
I feel like this resurgence of, oh my God, JT Daniels. Hey, I can root for him again.
Yeah.
So maybe we do that. I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
For a hot second, I was just like, how did Keaton Slovis end up at Pitt? He was good at USC. And then I was like, oh yeah, Lincoln Riley just took Caleb Williams over there.
Oh, this ain't your
Oklahoma
older
West.
this ain't your older sister's USC, Tyler.
How are you, someone with an affinity for Oklahoma, handling all of the Lincoln Riley stuff this offseason? Because in my opinion, Oklahoma is handling it in a way.
They're handling it in a way. That's a great way to put it.
They're processing it, kind of. I'm not gonna put any qualifiers on that. I would say bad or good, but they're processing it. They're going through it.
I think the best way to describe that is they're addressing it head on. They're addressing it head on.
It is in the forefront of their minds.
It is a present thought in their mind. They are aware of the situation. Tyler. No, I straight up told my brother I was visiting probably 2 weeks ago. I went up for about 10 days to spend some time with my mom, Raul, my brother. And I think like second to last night I was there or something. I straight up told Diego, I was like, all right, man, listen, y'all got to get over this. Y'all got to get, my favorite was that I saw on Reddit, on the college football Reddit, that an Oklahoma fan account or a journal, I think it was a journalist. Like like that bad, man. I think it was a journalist who posted a video of Venables, who's now the head coach at Oklahoma, of Venables like working hands-on with the linebackers. And I was like, oh, that's a great video. Like, I love watching coaches like be hands-on in practice.
Especially the head coach. Like,
yeah, exactly. And especially the head coach. Right. And the caption of the video was like, Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables working hands-on with the linebacker, something the previous coach never did. And people were, I was like, you want to know why that coach never worked with the linebackers? Because he's a quarterback's coach.
He's not a defensive head coach. Like,
it's not what he does. There's a reason he hired Alex Grinch. It's not what he does.
Boy, that is.
So it was like,
wow.
It was like,
wow.
Oh boy. Did you see the last thing? Because I got to get going. Did you see the video of Bob Stoops in the Oklahoma Senate?
I did.
So he said, listeners, I don't know if you've seen it, but you could literally look up Bob Stoops, Oklahoma.
It's probably the first thing you'll see under Bob Stoops. It's the most newsworthy thing he's done in a while.
It's the most recent thing, yeah. And he was on the floor. I don't know what he was talking about, why he was there, but in his speech, he said, Lincoln Riley didn't invent Oklahoma football. And it's like, God, bro, like, can we
get over it, people?
I get it. He left in the middle of the night. It was grime the way he did it. We've addressed it. We've talked about it. Tyler, you live in LA.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. As much as my parents hate to hear it from me, I'm like, yeah, no, I'll probably live here for the rest of my life. Like,
and honestly,
why wouldn't I?
Good for you. The only thing you're missing is a pub sub. Literally.
Stop.
And you can go home and get one whenever you want.
What? We got a buffalo chicken tender pub sub on my way to the airport to leave Florida, and I ate it in the airport. Right before I got on my flight, I was like, miss it. But man. Yeah, I mean, again, I have to harken back to the funniest thing that was like when he immediately took the job was that like a restaurant in Norman, Oklahoma was just like, it was like a Mexican restaurant. It was just like, he will no longer have like specials or like free stuff from us for life. And it's just like, yes, Lincoln Riley will struggle to get good Mexican food in Los Angeles, California. I think. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my favorite thing was when he got off the plane at USC still wearing the Oklahoma Jordans. I don't know if you saw that video going around.
I forgot about that.
He was wearing the Oklahoma. It's like that shade of red isn't the same. Oh no, that's Oklahoma. Oh man.
Oh boy. Yeah, no.
So funny.
I mean, I got just to talk my own experience as far as Mexican food goes out here. It's actually hard to find bad Mexican food in LA.
Really?
Well, I joke with people. It's like they don't got any Moe's here or anything like that.
Like they don't need it.
But yeah, and it's just like, oh, do you miss it? I'm like, no. I mean, like it's all better than any Mexican food you can get in Florida, which I mean, it's good in Florida too. Like this is like authentic here. My only thing is that like sometimes I want my crappy processed Mexican food, like if I'm having a bad day. And that's not really anything here. It's all like the good stuff, which is good.
Right.
But, yeah.
And I feel that like
too many places to eat here.
I could imagine like if you want like good Cuban food, like you could probably get something that's capable, like comprehensible.
Whereas, like, yeah, it's not the same as it would be in Florida.
I literally have 3 Cuban restaurants within 5 miles of where I live.
Shut up right now.
Sorry.
You have to stop. All right. You're also wearing your Bounce House shirt in the Waffle House style, and like,
I just want you. I'm training. It's Pavlovian. I'm like hinting at you to come visit. That's what I'm hinting at you to do. Last thing. How many USC or UCLA games are you going to try to go out? No, USC because Lincoln Riley with Caleb Williams.
I'm going to try. It's tough, but like I'm going to try. I want to go to one USC, one UCLA game because I want to go to the Rose Bowl as well.
Obviously, of course.
And it's like I've been to a Rams game out here, and there's like no tailgating scene, and I think that would be different for the college games. I know it's different for UCLA because they're in Pasadena, like the Rose Bowl is, so it's more of a tailgating environment.
People go because it's a trek to get out there, and so they go.
Well, there's golf courses near. You can add their places to tailgate. I don't know what the USC situation is because the Coliseum is kind of just in the center of the city. But I want to go. I really want to go. I'm trying to find people to go.
Well, I won't be able to this season, but I would like to head out there maybe next season in 23, if all goes well. To
college football won't be dead by then. So
no, it will not. And honestly, that USC team might be a bit better, and it might be fun to go.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I'm not going to become like a USC fan, but I am interested in them doing well.
Listen, above your head is a Go Gators at the top of your closet. If I ever see that replaced with a USC thing, I'm flying over and I'm smacking you in the face.
Never.
And coming back home.
Never.
You can live in LA, but you will always be a Gator and you will always be a Floridian. Don't you forget that, my friend.
I don't.
I think
on that note, last thing for me, the show that I'm working on next,
Redacted. What are we on?
Like
7, 10, 12?
It is. He's not connected to the project, but there's an outside shot. I'm thinking that Barry Jenkins might show up while I'm working on this thing, and so that makes me think that I need to wear Florida gear every single day I work on this show.
You have to do your.
He's in the lot. And I just have to be like, Go Gators.
You have to do your duty, my friend. You have to do your duty.
I need to have like a Gator hat just on me and like at my set backpack at all times, just so that I could whip it out at any moment. Like
absolutely. Just turn it up. Yeah. There you go. I think with that, Tyler, we have to sign off. Fun episode. Don't know when we're gonna have the next one, but Tyler, we owe Raul an episode.
We do,
and we owe Alexa an episode.
Who's this we? I don't speak French.
I like how when I mentioned Raul, you were like, "Yep, I'm in. Good, perfect." And then I mentioned Alexa, and you were like, "That's your girlfriend.
Your bed you made, baby." Like, I'll be there.
They were the co-winners of our bracket of our Bowl Mania challenge. We owe them an off-season episodes. The off-season episodes are just fun. You know, we'll get to some preview stuff later on. Obviously, as we get closer to the season. Once the AFMON starts coming around, that's when we start to really cook it up again. So we will have those 2 episodes for sure. Don't know when the next one's coming out. Tyler, it was lovely to speak with you both on and off camera. I am so glad that we can just hop right back on like nothing happened, like nothing left. Tom Brady retired and unretired in the span that we haven't
that
recorded
was a
a
moment
podcast.
that I wish I could have been podcasting with you.
You know, I don't. Respectfully, I don't.
I'll say you handled it relatively well compared to what I thought you were going to do.
What'd you think?
I just thought it was going to be bigger. It was, to me, it was a lot of a. It was a sadness sigh more than a "Are you effing kidding me?"
You know, Tyler, I've actually been working on trying to control my emotions a bit more. So that was a really good case study for me. I think I passed the introductory. I just got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Gonna start therapy soon and all that. It's got a long way to go. But that Tom Brady thing did throw a little. I did feel some stuff on the inside.
The only thing this is making me feel about Tom Brady that I didn't necessarily feel before is that I'm like now like 1,000,000% sure that like, oh, Tom Brady can't handle when things aren't about himself.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
I wasn't aware of that as much before, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
NFL tried to have one season without him, and he's like, nah.
I don't even want to mention the rumors of him potentially being the Dolphins quarterback, because with that being said, Tyler, this has been another episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And even though you are an Angelino, do not forget that we are not biased, but go Gators.
Go Gators.